have been 86.4%, Your Honor. So I think that is an effective tool of reducing the dockets of the court.
One of the effective means of reducing
Yes, Your Honor.
the
Of
court's
course, there are other
docket.
tools. For example, probably just to inform the body, we have also developed the skills of judges in plea bargaining cases. Like in drug cases. The drug cases that have been subjected to plea bargaining is as many as 31,000 cases. And for the information of the body, Your Honor, we have 100,000 drug cases filed every year with only 1,040 RTC. So our judges have a really hard time, of resolving all these cases. But we are trying our best. And the data will show that we have been performing well. And then I think our judges are now happier today than before because their dockets have been reduced considerably, Your Honors.
Thank you, Justice Peralta. Now, since 2016, it was recorded that at least 35 lawyers, judges, and prosecutors were killed in the line of duty.
Yes, Your Honor.
The Philippine Judges Association sought the creation of a martial system in the aftermath of these recorded killings.
Yeah.
And according to them, establishing special marshals under the supervision of the Supreme Court may help prevent further killings.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Do you think this is a good solution to the problem?
That's that's an excellent solution, because when one's life is in danger, what we usually do is to go seek help from the police agencies, and the policemen are not under our control and supervision. And they have our own marshals. Then they will be reporting to us. We will have control and supervision of them. Then judges' lives will be safer. What the problem, Your Honor, is this: can the Supreme Court open positions for marshals without violating the rule that only Congress can appoint or can create offices? That's why there was a proposal, and I'm a privy to that. During our budget hearing, I proposed then to the majority floor leader 2 years ago that if they could help us come up with a bill for the creation of marshals for the Supreme Court, because of these too many deaths and too many deaths, not only deaths, threats received by judges, and that was the problem that they posed. We will have problem of budgeting. You will have problem where we replace them. You will have problem of control and supervision. Judges are not used to supervising armament and so on. So that's it. That's what I think. We can again propose for the creation and office of the marshal, something like that under the Supreme Court, Your Honor.
Thank you, Justice Peralta. During our interview for lower court judges, it was mentioned by some interviewees that there is a scarcity of stenographers serving in the lower courts, and according to them, this largely contributed to the backlog of cases.
Yeah.
Assuming that you will be appointed as Chief Justice, how will you address this problem in order to avoid the accumulation of more cases in the lower courts?
That is really a serious problem, Your Honor, because some of our stenographers have been transferring to other offices. I can recall that was one of the questions asked of me in a Senate hearing. Why do we have a lot of vacancies? And then I told them that we have problems with the stenographers because instead of having 4 stenographers in one court, we have only 1 or 2. And they asked me, where are they now? Your stenographers, Your Honor, all came from the RTC of Manila. And true, they were all there. Now, we are now presently employing contractual stenographers, Your Honor, to solve the problem in the meantime. But the real problem is that we have problem on compensation. I think they only receive salary grade 14. Or that means so not even 20,000 basic pay. And you have the stenographers from the private firms. They have salaries of 40,000 also in the Senate. So in the meantime that we have problem on this, probably we have to continue hiring contractual stenographers. Anyway, Your Honor, their work has been lightened in the first level courts. Because in the first level courts, all direct testimonies of witnesses are now in affidavit form. So they will no longer take down the testimony of the witnesses as they testify, because they will now be using affidavits instead of oral testimony. So what will be they taking, Your Honor, will be the cross-examination or the questions that may be propounded by the presiding judge. By the way, Your Honor, during that hearing, one of the senators' chief of staff came to me, and she said, through the chief of staff, I will sponsor a bill to exempt the judiciary from the coverage of the salary standardization law. And I read the bill, Your Honor, it's not pending in the Senate. I hope that if that bill will be approved and all the employees of the judiciary will be exempted from the standardization law, I think it will be easier to invite people from the private sector to join us, especially the stenographers. I hope that the JBC will be included in the exception.
Okay, thank you. Now, this is a very important question. How will you address the public's continued perception of the Philippine judiciary as corrupt?
Okay, Your Honor. This has been the problem because, as we all know, perception is greater than reality. People tend to hear perception rather than the reality. The reality, Your Honor, is that there are only few who are misfits. Like in any other organizations, there are always bad eggs. But the perception is that if one judge is corrupt, then everybody is corrupt. And that is a bad perception. And we have been telling everybody, we have been advertising, we have been publishing all those court personnel judges who have been disciplined. And in other words, in your that's a bad perception, as I said. But the reality is, the judiciary should not to be perceived as corrupt because there are only few bad eggs. So what we can do probably, Your Honor, is to, kasi, the judiciary, among the all three branches of government, the judiciary is the weakest. It's the weakest, Your Honor. I myself cannot go to the media and have been interviewed and tell them that you have been doing. That's the problem with us. Because we are rated by, or we are judged by the decisions that we write. But we cannot go to the media and explain to the media. We only use our public information officer, but his voice is limited. He cannot go beyond what we have been doing because it might be a privilege. It might be confidential in nature. So what we can do probably is to continue inform the public what we have been doing with all of these misfits, and I think that will help to change that perception, Your Honor.
Thank you. The orange light is on. I only have two more questions.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. How will you enhance the efficiency in dispensing speedy justice?
In the lower courts or from the Supreme Court down to the...
Let's just concentrate on the lower courts.
Yeah, lower courts, yes, Your Honor. I am proud to say that our lower courts have been performing very well, Your Honor. Before we revised the small guidelines in 2015, Your Honor, the average docket of first-level courts was something like 1,000. There were also lower courts in Metro Manila, where the dockets used to be 1,500. And then in 2017, when we implemented September 1 continuous trial, Your Honor, the dockets of the courts, first-level courts, went down. And you can check the records. One of the judges, or most of the judges now, have a docket in Metro Manila because we use Metro Manila as the gauge because these are the courts that are heavily burdened. The dockets, Your Honor, is already, the average is less than 100 in the first-level court. In the second-level court, we are trying our best, Your Honor, because in the second-level courts, the second-level courts are flooded with so many drug cases, Your Honor. And the first-level courts have no jurisdiction insofar as drug cases are concerned. So all these cases are lumped with the RTC. But we are trying our best because some of the solutions, Your Honor, may be legislative in nature. So we are trying to adapt